Hey everyone, it is LSID932 on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be Love is Blind Argentina, the reunion. Please take a moment, all of you who have passed through the channel, please take a moment to like the video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I love interacting, and especially if you're from Argentina, because I have quite a few questions. So I've never visited Argentina, but I have quite a few questions like I did with other Love is Blind from overseas. So let us get into it. Let me grab my notes. So, first impressions. The hostess dressed for the reunion. She had a beautiful sequin outfit, but it was lackluster for the host. I'm sorry. Wearing a tuxedo jacket and a trucker hat didn't quite go together for the occasion. Okay, so that's why I'm a little dressed down too. Because he wasn't dressed up, no need for me to dress up. So they brought the girls out, and then they brought the gentlemen out, and the audience filled with other former pod members and family members of the cast. And they start with Santiago and Emily. Santiago is wearing a dangling earring. I do not like dangling earrings at all. At all. So I was distracted. So they do a recap of their story as with all the couples. And just like Love is Blind Brazil, they put a photo up of the couple. In Brazil, they gave the lady a hammer and whack it if they're not together and leave it alone if they are. But in Argentina, they decided to put a heart around the picture or put an X, determining if you're together or not. So Santiago had a mean face, and I was looking at him and I'm like, oh boy, we about to have a little mini explosion from Santiago here. So they asked Emily, were they together? And she drew a heart. So they are still together. Nobody was wearing rings. I was like looking for rings. Nobody was wearing a ring. So Santiago started to smile, and Emily said that they needed to communicate more and they needed to learn to get along. Santiago said after the experiment, they lived with his parents for about a month, and that was intense. And Emily said after the intensity of the experiment, they did have to live apart to see if it was real or if it was just the experiment. They dealt with social media backlash together. And they agreed that they should watch soccer with their respective families and not together. Remember, they have a rivalry. They support two different clubs. I will put a picture up of the logos there. But in order to keep a happy home, I think that is a beautiful thing for a medium of, hey, we're not going to watch it together because we're going to show up and show out for our own team, and then we get somebody really mad. And the show did a wonderful thing of showing them side by side, watching the highs and lows of the soccer teams. We move on to Julieta and Ezekiel. Remember, I love this couple. Absolutely adore them. So they ask an X or a heart, and Julieta placed an X. Oh, I'm so heartbroken. I was hoping they would work out. I was so hoping. This is my favorite couple. So Ezekiel said they took some time, and it seems like their relationship started to sputter out, kind of fizzled out. And Julieta said they were, on different intensity levels, and they agreed to end things mutually. They do talk often, still, and he was there for her when her dog passed away. And she said he will always be with her. And I was like, that is so sweet. But then I'm like, where does that leave a potential new love for either of them? The hostess asked Ezekiel if he is dating. Julieta says she will end him if he is. And I was like, girl, you're not married to him. You don't want him. Let the man find love, please. But he says no, and Julieta also answers no. And he said he is not closing the doors on them being together, and she says she is not up for that. So Julieta, everybody loves Ezekiel, says he's a gentleman, and even the host and hostess mentioned that is, talked about all night. You don't want him, but you want him tethered to you. You don't want him with anyone else. That seems a little unfair, Julieta. It seems like you want the emotional support, you want the good guy, but you don't want to give yourself to him or your emotions. That is not fair to him or to you. I think y'all should just, cut it off and y'all go your separate ways. But that's just me. Um, they do go on to Eva, Roberto, and Agostina. Remember, Roberto and Eva dated in the pods. They went to Tulum, Mexico on the vacation. And when he got back, Eva said that he went straight to Agostina and they dated. So he said he did date Augustina. He said they're together but not together. It just sounds complicated, but he said he wanted to clear up they did not have a sexual encounter when they got back, like Ava said, and they are dating exclusively, but Augustina says a relationship means that the family is involved. So they are dating, they are exclusive, but since the families haven't met or they haven't met each other's families, it's not really a relationship. And I'm like, Augustina, that's confusing. I see where you're like, it's separated, but exclusivity equals relationship in my book. But if you're from Argentina, let me know if Augustina's, lost in translation for me or if this is how it's done. Augustina said that her hard life has made her the hard queen she is today. And Eva rolls her eyes. Everybody else kind of chuckles. Even Emily is like, y'all buying this? Eva goes on and gives them good wishes, and she thanks God that she realized that Roberta was an empty pool, that she was jumping into an empty pool before it was too late. I was dying laughing with Eva. Then she was hurt by Roberto, and that Roberta came home and went straight for Augustina. And she knows that not everyone will behave the way she would, but that's not how she would have moved on, so to speak. I understand what she means. It's like you come off the plane Tulum, you go straight for your phone, you go to Augustina, hey girl, let's hang out. But what can you do? Augustina says Eva can keep her wishes. She can keep her best wishes. The host is like, don't be defensive, Augustina. She's like, I don't believe Ava's good girl attitude. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You don't believe the attitude, but you're giving attitude, Augustina. Ava says she is not dating now, and they just move on to the next couple, Maria Emilia and Mauricio. Maria Emilia says she felt that she changed and didn't recognize herself. That's why she said no at the altar. Mauricio said he wanted to quit many times, but they made a pact, he and Maria Emilia, to make it to the end and to say yes. She alone knows why she changed her mind. He said he's gotten a lot of hate and he feels that the show did pick his bad personality parts to show and not the good parts of their love story. The host said, but didn't you contribute to the story even if it was edited? Yeah, Mauricio. He said yes, but they didn't show him in the good side, making her breakfast and even cleaning up the place. And I did think of that. They usually saw him sitting down or laying on the couch or exercising, and she's bringing, the food, but not much of him contributing. So I do give Mauricio that. So the hostess asks, Maria Emilia if there was a pact. And she talks and talks and talks, and it's like, girl, was there a pact? Finally, she answers yes. The pact, though, she says, was to make it to the altar, not to say yes at the end. And I'm like, I don't think Mauricio would lie about this, but I don't know him, and I'm not going to call Maria Emilia a liar either. So I'm wondering if they had a misunderstanding, of a pact to make it to the end, but one believes it's to say yes at the end, and one believes that we make it to the altar and make our own decisions. So Maria Emilia said she had to say no because she didn't feel secure. And the host asked about, Mauricio controlling her eating. And Maria Emilia said it was a joke. He did not pressure her at all. He did, have an eating routine that he did, tell her about and help her with. But, he even ate the tres leches, and he admitted that he did eat chocolate. So it's like not that serious. The host asked about the plastic surgery conversation, and she says, she admits that both of them have had plastic surgery in the past, and they both have different views on it. So I was looking at them like, Mauricio didn't say or act like, hey, I had plastic surgery. He didn't even expand on it, when they were talking. So my thing is that what exactly have y'all had done? So it turns out, after all this, Mauricio does read her a letter apologizing. It sounds sincere. It sounds like he's trying to clean up the image for, social media, but also that he has found that love is blind. And Mauricio is dating Erica, who is a lady from the pods. And she was in the audience. Very beautiful young lady. Very beautiful. So I'm hoping that they, as he said in his letter, he has grown, and I'm hoping that they do have a successful relationship. So to go to another favorite couple of mine, Tom and Florfy. Tom does admit they are not together at the moment. It was hard to keep the relationship up, being long distance, so it fizzled out. The host said, was Florfy really open to getting married all along, or was she, just there? And Florfy says she found that marriage is serious and it was too much of a decision to make so quickly. Florfy is still single, and Tom says he is in a relationship. So I did see this in my comments from folks in Argentina who did say that you have a long dating, you live together, have kids together, and then decide to marry. So Florfy's concerns about it being too quick seems to be valid and culturally appropriate. So we go on to Brenda and Matthias. I was so glad they brought Brenda and Matthias back. Remember, let's recap Brenda and Matthias. I forgot which episode they were in, but they were early on, and she has 2 kids. Her longtime boyfriend passed away from cancer. um, Matthias was very close to his home and his family and his people because he had, I think, great loss there before. But I really wanted to dive into that because he has dated someone with kids. And I was like, oh my gosh, will they be successful? But at the reveal, Matthias said, let's not do this whole thing. Let's leave this whole experiment and see how we get on. And I was like, oh my gosh, Matthias, this is not it. So Brenda said they tried, but they are not together. It was long distance, and he was only texting at the end of the day. And no explanation, but it kind of died out and fell flat. Matthias said he had doubts about what they felt in the pods. And I could see that. I could see that. It's like, okay, I haven't seen you. How do I really know that this is how I feel about you? He said he really did like her. She is wonderful. She's a wonderful mother and person. But he always gets in his head and thinks of worst case scenario. And he let that negative thinking guide him. So they are definitely not together. We move on to Florencia and Juan Luis. They ask her, are y'all still married? Are y'all not together? And Florencia drew a heart. She said they're very happy and still intense. She apparently sold all her stuff, broke the lease, gathered her 4 cats, and moved in with him. Quit her job even. Oh my gosh. Florencia, you just went for it. You were like, I'm packing up my life. I'm moving with my husband. Bye, y'all. She said she may have looked insecure and come off like that on camera, but she was giving up her whole life to be with him, and she had to be sure. They were apart for a month so she can close up her life, and then they moved in together. But he didn't seem to adjust well to having a wife. So Juan Luis said that she's correct and she's being very polite, but he went into shock. It was her 4 cats, her whole life. And he says she was being nice because after 3 days, he needed space and he took it. I was like, you left her? Your new wife after 3 days? Her and the cats? So her resolve is what brought the relationship around, is what he said. He said he had a surprise for her. The surprise were wedding bands engraved with their names, and he proposed and presented it to her. So let's recap this. So we had Emily and Santiago. They are still together and still married. Julieta and Ezekiel. They are not together but friendly. We have Florencia and Juan Luis. They are married and still together. And of course, Mauricio and Maria Emilia did say no at the altar. So they ended it with the live band singing the Love is Blind Argentina song. Apparently, the band is called La Conga. And please forgive me, I am watching this show. It is translated into English with English subtitles. So if anything is lost in translation, please let me know. But I have to say, Love is Blind. I love this song. The Love is Blind Argentina song by La Conga, I absolutely love. We have got to hear it. I have got to see where do we get it. It was so nice to see everyone in the crowd get up and dance along with the song. The lyrics are, finally get to know the lyrics because if they didn't translate it, I wouldn't know. It says, it's not a matter of having you, you have your freedom. I just want to get to know you and for you to be my better half. Listening to your stories, I try to hide that I'm dying to touch you. And to make this happen, you managed to make me fall for you in just a moment. You've taken over me, taken over my feelings. Who cares what people say? We have just met, and I can already tell everything we will accomplish. Who cares about the reason or if it's just a dream to love unconditionally because love is blind? I dream of seeing you again. I cannot stop thinking that meeting you face to face was not just a coincidence. And it goes into rotation again. It is an upbeat song. I love it. It is a great way to end a season or end an episode, and I absolutely adore it. So, Love is Blind Argentina, you have a theme song for you. And let me know, people, was this made for the show? I think it was, or if this is a regular song. But y'all have a theme song, and it's the first Love is Blind that I know have a song specially for their season. So I wish to thank you guys for joining me for Love is Blind Argentina. And please like the video, share, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, and join me because next time I may do the ultimatum. Let me know if you want me to. And also, Love is Blind Germany starts in January, so I will definitely see you then. Thank you, Argentina, for hosting Love is Blind. I had a wonderful time learning and knowing more about you, and I hope to see you for a season 2. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.